Here's a great example of the power of water. Across the stream down there, which is approximately 120 feet wide, we see trees, large trees, a whole bunch of them, and a lot of debris and so on. There's a division, so some of the water goes that direction, some of the water goes that direction. And the majority of the water is currently going that direction and cutting in and around and going to the other side. What it wants to do eventually is go straight. All water wants to go straight, but before it does, it meanders back and forth until it cuts in deep enough to go straight. All water does that. You send water down a slope in your driveway on sand and watch how it goes back and forth. Initially, it meanders back and forth. And then eventually, you keep adding water, like say, do a little bucket of it, and then add another bucket, and then another bucket, another bucket. By about the fifth time you add a bucket, your water is going almost in a straight line through that area instead of meandering back and forth. It's just what water does. Anyway, so the stream here meanders around all that pile because it can't go through that area yet. And also there's a little bit of an island there, but it would go through if it could. So it'll eventually make it straight in 1,000 years or so. But this is an area where there's calm water over here. It's usually rushing through. I'm sure it pokes through that a little bit. I can see there's current over on the left side. There's current sort of in the middle of it, but I believe it tapers off and goes around the corner. It goes to another spot and does sort of the same thing. It meanders back and forth a little bit within the confines of the stream bed that it has here. But what I wanted to point out was the force of water is able to move trees. Granted, this whole riverbed would have been full, it would have been spring, and a lot of this is coming down in a rush of water. And when trees hit on something in the embankment or whatnot, they stop and they start making a buildup of stuff. That pile is about 10 to 15 feet tall. I see the rock in front of it there is probably about 3 feet high. So 3, 6, 9, yeah, it's probably around 12 feet tall, that pile. And looking back upstream from where I am, I saw another pile, but it's a much smaller one. So it's an interesting, sorry about that blip there. Had to reel in my wandering dog. So it's an interesting thing seeing river environments. Oh, there's a belted kingfisher. I don't know if I'll be able to catch that. That's the sound anyway. I don't know if you could see the bird in the video there or not, but they're a short, squat bird with a long beak. And they go upstream and they put their beak to the water and they open it up and catch things as they go. Usually they're after small fish, but they'll take insects or whatever's on the surface of the water. But it's got an interesting belt across its chest or around its neck, a few markings, black and white bird with a squat head, like I said, black beak, black and white markings, but it's known as a belted kingfisher. I don't know the genus and species, but I'll put that on here as well. Anyhow, that's the sound you're hearing in the background, that twittering. Somewhere up in that direction I saw it earlier, and I thought I was probably not going to catch it in flight, but there it is. And they generally fly, 5 or 6 feet above the water, and when they're in streams or stream beds like this, they just fly upstream right on the water with their beak in it to pick up critters. Much better than running around. Good girl. Thank you, Boone. Do it. Do the deed. Good girl.